You need a. You know how you're always like, you just gotta enjoy nature.
I do enjoy nature.
It's fine. It's just a
when
bee.
nature gets too close,
If it lands on you, it's fine.
I flinch. It's not fine.
I think it is.
You like the idea of things like sinking their little stabby, sharp stabby things into you, their little needles, and injecting you with venom.
You should do like a nature documentary and just talk just like that. That'd be good.
You think
Little
so?
stingy things are things that inject things into you, and then it's just not painful. It's like, the little stingy things they have on them. It's really painful, and I don't like it. That's the bee. Moving on. That's you. Anyways, welcome back to the third dimension. I'm Cruz.
And I'm Max.
And we have a lot of things to talk about today. Important things.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to go first? That's right. Yeah.
Actually,
well, we had mentioned that we had something. Well, technically, it's still applicable. Remember, we were talking about last time that we were like, "Oh, we have an announcement to make." It's not the same one that we were gonna make, but it is something new.
Why don't you try?
So we said on the last video that we had an announcement to make. Originally, that was gonna be that we were going to a yacht school in Charleston to get our SCTW certification to work on a yacht, and that didn't fit into our schedule. So, I guess the new announcement, which is more applicable, is that we're going to be uploading 3 videos a week. On Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's still going to be the podcast. On Mondays, we're going to be uploading just more entertainment videos, and then also on Wednesday. So the schedule will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and that'll be our uploads. We don't know what times yet on Monday and Wednesday. We're obviously going to get that squared away and then post stuff on our social media. But that's good. So it's not just going to be the podcast. There's going to be more of us.
Well, it's going to be a little more funny, lighthearted videos.
Not that this isn't funny and lighthearted.
Well, no, this is going to be more.
This is more of our philosophical outlet.
Well, this is just a conversation.
Well,
You're the third person in this conversation.
Yeah.
The other videos are more akin to YouTube-ish funny videos it's just dumb and it's great and you're gonna like it. So just sit back and wait, and you will enjoy.
Yeah.
Or not. It's up to you.
Yeah.
So
if you don't, we'll be disappointed.
But anyway, all of that to say, it brings me to something I want to talk about with you.
Mm-hmm.
Which is sort of why we started the podcast, why we started this conversation. Which is what do you do if you don't really want to do the normal going to college, the 9-to-5 thing? What if that's not for you? What if you don't fit that mold? What do you do? And from most of the people that I've talked to, a lot of the people that are young adults, they find themselves in a similar boat. They don't like the way things are. They don't want to, from their point of view, waste their life doing something they don't absolutely love, and that's fair. Everybody's got their own way of doing things. And so I wanted to talk about that with you today, and your perspective on it, because you're 19 and just out of high school, and so you're the struggles and the tension in that, because you're fresh in that, fresh out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So what did that look like for you, sort of deciding to go from, well, I guess I'm going to have to do college because everyone else is doing it.
Yeah.
It's I kind of feel like I have to. To a place where it's you feel more comfortable of being well, maybe I can figure it out, and I can do something different with my life. It doesn't have to fit what everyone else thinks I should do. Regardless of the pragmatism that might pervade their way of doing things, their way of doing life. So walk me through that. What was that like?
Well, I mean, anybody that knows me, and especially you, knows that I've been waiting to graduate or just really be done with the whole, I had to go to high school.
So what about high school was off-putting to you? Regardless of the social things, what about it was
Well,
what about it made you feel like you were wasting your time?
I guess that could be considered as a waste of time, but it's you and 500 to 1,000 people are learning the exact same thing, and it's it should be more tailored because obviously everybody's different. And so, if I'm sitting in a class of 36 of CP English, and I learn on a higher level, and then there's a kid that's like extremely slow, and we're going at the same pace, and that's just not how that works. Like that's why people have different jobs. That's why people go to different colleges, because like everybody's different, and it's very individual. But it's also just the fact that like you are literally legally required to show up at school at 8:45, and you have to leave at 3:45. It's like, I mean, that's essentially like your job when you're a kid. That's like your 9 to 5. Like you have to show up. And when you graduate, that's the first time in a young adult's life where they don't have to be somewhere at a certain time. They don't have to be under this hierarchy of like, oh, you have to listen to the adults because they run the show. It's like you're your own master now. And I think that's a really
agency in your life.
Yeah.
You have agency in your life.
Yeah. I mean that's the main thing. And then once you graduate and you're like, I literally can do anything at this point.
Right.
And it's funny you asked that question because I actually just rewatched the Bryan Cranston interview when he was talking about people my age who just graduated. He's like, he just thinks that it's, and I think the same way. It's obviously a mutual feeling, but he said that it's like ridiculous that fresh out of high school, at 18 or 19, you're expected to know exactly what you want to do. You're expected to know exactly what college you want to do. He's like, that's ridiculous. Take a year off. Take 2 years off because this is the first time in your life when you literally are capable of doing anything you want. And that's
it's not
also
only capable, but I think it's not. It doesn't have anything to do with capability.
It's just the freedom.
It has more to do with having the freedom to discover how to make decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like if you follow the flow. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with it.
This isn't even on the. I don't feel like falling off no cliff. I apologize.
It's okay. I don't think it has to do with capability. I think it has more to do with having the freedom to figure it out for yourself. Having the freedom to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes.
Yeah.
Because if you follow the herd, and again, not that there's anything inherently wrong with that. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with going to college and doing those things, because that has certainly forced some people, and there's nothing wrong with it. If it makes you happy, go for it. And so I think that, but I do think it's important to learn how to make your own decisions and to learn how to recover from your own mistakes.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you're also, once you graduate from high school, you're not learning the same thing that the other 1,000 people. Like, you're learning at your own pace.
Right.
Your own curriculum, if you will. Like, it's like you're doing your own thing for once.
Right.
Like, literally, I mean, everybody who's been in the public education has been taught by adults since K4. Yeah, which is like literally 4 years old to about 18.
Right.
So.
And I guess for me, because I did 1 year of university out when I was out of high school.
Fresh out of Compton.
Yep. Fresh. No, I don't know about that.
Yep.
But yeah, I did 1 year, and that was when COVID happened, and I was like, well, I can feel myself changing just as a person, right? Especially in your late teens, early 20s, there's a lot of change going on, just for you personally. And I was like, I can feel myself changing, and I don't know if the person that I'm changing into is someone that really fits the mold of the university deal, the whole kit and caboodle. And so I took some time for myself, and I was originally just going to take 1 gap year.
Yeah.
And I traveled around the world, right? Did a lot of traveling, and I worked a lot of different jobs. And for me, it was like a lot of people would be like, okay, well, this person's on track to do this and this and this, right, at their school. They're going to graduate college and get their job and get married and have kids and have family in the end. And that's fine for them. But for me, I felt like there was more to life for me to discover, right, because it's very personal, for me to discover, and more people to talk to and learn from that I would miss out on if I pigeonholed myself into a way of being and a way of doing life too soon. And what I saw in a lot of people that were my age was just a regurgitation of philosophies that they had heard, right, from other people. So this is why I'm doing this is why I'm doing that. And it wasn't their thought. It was somebody else's thought.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. I was like, I don't want to, just, I can't fit into that. I would rather have all this information and all these philosophies and all these ways of doing life set out before me so I can choose and I can know for myself what works for me, how I feel fulfilled, how I feel happy. And I mean, I remember talking to you early on when I had just met you about You had expressed how much you did not like school. You'd expressed how you were like, yeah, I don't want to do this, but I kind of feel like I have to. Like, I feel like I kind of have to do college. I feel like I kind of have to do this. And it's,
If I may interject,
yeah,
I love learning
yeah.
and I love getting taught things. It's just like that very
structured
cookie cutter.
environment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, it's the same curriculum that people have been learning since literally like the 50s.
Right. And I think what it probably does is, I think it cuts out a lot of the critical thinking that you can do. So it's like, instead of being, especially in undergraduate programs, right?
Yeah.
You're not being told how to think, you're being told what to think. And that's a problem, especially in your formative years, in your late teens, early 20s, because then that's going to set the precedent for how you're going to live the rest of your life.
Yeah.
More than likely. That's going to be your core and your foundation. And so I'm like, I would rather, instead of being told what to believe in those years, I would rather learn, how do I figure out what I believe?
Yeah.
How do I figure out who I am? How do I figure out how to learn?
Yeah.
Instead of just being in these environments where that's the sole purpose of it. And so I'm a big believer in agency in your life. And I was talking to a buddy, which I told you about, a buddy of mine about it, because his philosophy on things is very different from mine, right?
Yeah.
He's very much into the whole, you can go to school and do all this stuff, and there's a lot of structure and there's a lot of predictability, which is normal. I think that there's more you can learn, and I don't think it's safe. And I think that's a problem for a lot of people, because it's like, the world tells you it's not safe, and it's like, because it's not safe, therefore don't do it. And for me, it's like, well, I don't know about that. Are you sure? Are you sure? And then I'd examine their life. It's like, what have you done in your life that gives you the know-how to speak on that?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, have you done these things and you've found that it's just rife with destruction and pain, and you end up with nothing? And if no, then why, like, where are you coming from?
Yeah.
Right? And so then it's like, how do you go about navigating that? So when was the decision for you to sort of move from, I don't want to go to university but I feel like I have to I actually want to figure out a way to not have to do those things and to figure it out for myself?
I always had like, I don't know, I always had that thought my junior year of high school, but I feel like it kind of came to fruition like my senior year. I'm like, well, this is actually like crunch time.
Right,
I graduate in 6 months.
Right,
yeah.
you're on the precipice of it. Right?
And again, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody who has graduated, but like, I literally went to Walmart yesterday and I saw somebody who graduated. I'm like, is that
what you want?
Is that what you want to do? And like, even if you are going to university, like, that's your part-time job.
Right.
You're literally doing nothing.
Right.
And like, yeah, I guess if you want to think like long-term, you're like, yeah, you're going to get your bachelor's and then your master's, and then after hundreds of thousands of dollars and after 8 years of learning, you have to go find a job.
Right.
Probably make, I don't know, 50, 60 grand. And it's going to take you a decade to literally pay off that tuition. And like, I would rather just not deal with any of that, figure out my own thing, and be my own boss. I don't want to, I think I mentioned in the last one that I don't work at the kitchen I used to anymore.
Right.
And I think the big part of me with leaving was just like, I figured out that I don't want to be under somebody's like supervision.
Right. Yeah.
Not to say that that's not okay right now, because me and you obviously both are.
Right.
But that's because like we're
You bear
getting
with
into
it for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
right,
we're getting
but
into
not
the
for a hyper extended period of time.
Yeah, exactly.
I
don't know. I just like, I just give me one good reason why you wouldn't be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like, why you don't, like, literally there's no.
But the thing is, it's not for everyone, right? And so there are people that school is the best option for them,
Yeah.
and doing life that way is the best option for them. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I think that instead of there being freedom to choose that for yourself, there is more of this is the only way. This is the only way life works.
Well, it's like, again, the 90th percentile of like everybody that's ever lived. It's like you get
that's the way they've
a degree.
done things.
Yeah.
However, I think maybe that was that just misplaced ideology.
And also for like everybody that's watching, I know for a fact that almost all of you will like get on social media and you see like these influencers who have done none of that,
Right.
and they have like net worths well over 10 million. You're like, oh, I want to do that.
Well, then the response to that would probably, well, they're the exception, right?
Yeah,
Be
exactly.
pragmatic.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, does pragmatism necessarily get you a fulfilling and joyful life? No. Because there's always a risk in pursuing the things that you desire, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
And there's always sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for me, it's like, okay, when I look at the people in my life and the people I've learned from, I think another big push of why I do think the way I do is because when I talk to people who are older, who were retired, who were at they were on the back nine, right, of their life. And they're like, Max, if I could do it over again, I would have done so much differently.
Yeah.
I would have lived more before I tied myself down to all these things. I would have traveled more. I wouldn't have been jumped right into these things and been like, well, this, done. Because now, yeah, I'm retired and I'm 60 or 70, but my body is not 20 years old anymore.
Yeah.
I can travel, but I can't do the things I used to. I can't go on hikes like that. I can't go cliff jumping. I can't do all these things.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I've got retirement money now, but I missed out on so much, and I can't get that back.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a recurring theme for many people that were very different, different demographics, but all like eventually retired or were like, I would have done things differently. I would have lived more when I was young. And so it's like, how do you exemplify that and live that so that you don't end up with those regrets? Because it's not just about now or about midlife. It's about when you get to the end of your life, are you going to regret not living when you were younger? Are you going to regret not traveling? Are you going to regret not going for those things?
Yeah.
Right? And for me, I don't want to have those regrets. And chasing those things certainly comes with risk, like I said. But I think that risk is less risky than the risk you'd be taking of feeling regrets and unfulfilled at the end of your life if you don't feel called to live a life that would be considered more cookie cutter.
Yeah.
So did you have a lot of anxiety sort of moving through and navigating that decision-making process?
I mean, yeah, 100%. I mean, and I also feel like that's like synonymous with anybody that's ever done anything like that. Like, I guess like the price tag that's attached to that is being extremely anxious and like you're unaware of anything that's going to happen. And again, like that's the whole reason that's not for everybody. Because if you get a bachelor's degree and you get a good paying job, it's like it's very safe.
Yeah. And
people want to be safe. Like you don't want to again quit your 9 to 5 and like start this entrepreneurial business and you're like, I don't know where this is going to go. Yeah. And I get that, but at the same token, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Like why would you want to do that?
Well, because
I mean, you learn through making mistakes.
Yeah.
You don't learn through like, I don't know, if I did something bad, my mom's like, "No, it's fine. Just don't do it next time." And if there's like an actual repercussion, then it's not going to happen. Like that's how you learn.
Right.
And again, if that theoretically were to happen, then I don't know, man. I would just take no risks. And I think from a spiritual sense, because this is where we come from, it's like we're literally here on a rock in the middle of space, and it's like not that serious. And I'd rather enjoy life than again wake up, work a 9 to 5.
Well, yeah, and it's
drive a
not your
car that
legacy.
I'm paying off, like go to a nice house. It's like none of that matters.
Yeah.
And obviously the majority of the people that are watching are
difference in priorities.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people that are watching are obviously like very religious, and they're akeen with everything that Jesus did, and like he was literally a homeless nomad who was like doing miracles. Like I don't want to live in a house. I'd rather travel, and I mean I'm not gonna do miracles, but like you know what I mean.
Right.
And yeah, and it's kind of funny, like paradoxically speaking, because that to me is more safe than having a safe lifestyle.
Right.
So, and again, it's not for everybody. And I think for the majority of the people that this will reach is.
But for those that it is right. For those that that resonates with them, or this resonates with them, this will find them. Right?
Yeah.
And they'll find it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think oftentimes it can also feel very lonely right? Pursuing something that's not with the flow of society, right? It can feel very lonely, and it can be disorienting because there is no path. There's no set out path. There is no, this is the way you go and these are the steps to take. This is more like you figure it out and you swim.
Yeah.
Or you sink. And so there's that lack of safety net that can freak people out. And it's like, oh, it's too scary, therefore let's just do the safe thing.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes people do that, but it's like pushing through to the other side of that is worth it.
Yeah.
There's a saying that, the treasure that you're looking for is on the other side of the dragon, right? And their dragons are scary, right?
Yeah.
They breathe fire, they got teeth, like they're terrifying. But in order to get that treasure, you're gonna have to go through it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to kill the dragon. And there's no way around that.
Yeah.
And so either your dragon is the lack of a set out path, the lack of predictability, or your dragon will be regret. And I would rather my dragon be unpredictability.
Yeah.
Because I think that goes along with the reason we like stories, right? The reason we like adventure stories and all these crazy books and all these movies and these big action things, and it's like because it's an adventure.
Yeah.
And there's real stakes. And it's like when you see the main characters push through those things, those fights, those battles, they have scars, they have wisdom from that. There's a part of us, I think, that longs for that, to live that.
Yeah.
And we get so comfortable in our little lives that I think it's like this sort of amnesia about it. Like we like it from afar.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh no, it's too scary if we actually tried to do it.
Yeah.
But what if becoming the most human version of yourself that you could was to kind of go about it like that?
Yeah.
To live an adventure. To live a life worthy of being called an adventure.
Yeah.
Right? That water sounds really nice. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
No, it is. It's very peaceful.
Really nice. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, any other remarks about it?
I feel like this will naturally progress and just obviously grow into something more.
Well, yeah, because I think there's there can also be a lot of frustration in not being able to articulate yourself.
Yeah.
How you feel.
Well,
about
this is
those things.
like the center of like what we're doing. It's
Right.
like literally just be free, make your decisions,
Right.
go against the normality of
Right.
things.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's important that we're kind of like laying out that foundation right now.
Right.
Now that we have like
And how do you
30
feel now
viewers.
versus junior year of high school?
So much better. Like I literally even before you came along, I'd tell everybody like my life would be perfect at school.
Yeah.
And again, it's not even the fact that I'm like not disciplined. Like obviously we were trying to do something. I feel like I was wasting my time. Like all that time that I had to do, like now I have to myself. And yeah, I think it's just important, like whether again like you're going to university or whatever, like just make something of yourself.
Have a legacy.
Yeah, you can still go to university and like help people and
Right.
do all that.
And that
It's
is
just
some
not-
people's path, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But for those that want something different, welcome. Because that's what we're here
right.
to talk about.
That's right.
And
Well-
you're going to come on this journey with us, and we're going to grow together, and we're
right.
going to learn together, and we're going to become who we are
Yeah.
together.
That's right.
Um,
That being said, like I said at the beginning of the video, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yep, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. New videos.
Follow our Instagram. It's at the Third Dimension.
And
it should be all
we're
lowercase.
releasing on Monday. We're releasing which videos?
Well, Monday's just like, let's just videos, like because they're not
okay. Well,
specific.
Monday and Wednesday are going to be the funny, lighthearted, like
Yeah, it's gonna be like the update.
it'll make you laugh video.
Yeah.
Shorter
shorters
videos.
videos.
Schmiffed them shorters.
Yeah. But yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you go to our Instagram, it's the third dimension.
At it's the third
The
dimension.
hyperlink is in the description,
Yeah,
so you can
have
go.
to actually put in at it's the third dimension.
That's right. So you can go to our Spotify and YouTube. Obviously, subscribe and like and comment, just so we can.
Yeah, subscribe
Figure
because
things
that's how you will
out.
get notifications that we've uploaded again.
Yeah.
And then TikTok we're gonna have. We're rolling out a whole plan.
Yeah, but
This is gonna be
across
good.
all platforms, it's either the third dimension or it's the third dimension.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's the third dimension.
We're gonna consolidate that. We're gonna we're workshopping it.
We're gonna fix it.
So it's gonna be good. I'm excited.
It's gonna be
for
real
what we're
good.
doing.
It's gonna be
we
real
got
good.
some big plans on the horizon.
Mm-hmm.
We're rolling out.
Wait from a year from now.
Right from a year from now.
Wait, hey, you better. Hey, I'll tell you
rate.
what. You rate. I'll tell you what. You rate from a year from now. We're gonna be somewhere else. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Yep.
On that note, we'll see you next time.
That's right. Thanks for watching. Akuna Matata.
Yeah, arrivederci.
Mm-hmm.